not going to be coming through. We haven't seen her go through the entire day. We have seen some Aatroxes come out, but he is banned right now on the side of GAM. Ziggs as well coming out. So quite a lot of focus on keeping, meta champions that kind of define playstyles away, because me and Gyang did see Ziggs go pretty hard. He was a pretty important part of the games earlier in the C region.
It still is the best Dragon Laner AP carry out there. Very good in defending your towers, the defense minister, as I call it. But more than the Ziggs pickup, all Southeast Asian meta has revolved around the side lanes. Whoever controls the side lane controls the game. And that's actually a very good ban coming from GAM, because Vietnam is a very big Ashe region. They play Ashe as if, it's a different champion. They can play it mid, they can play it in the support role, they can play it in the Dragon lane, and this flexibility is the reason why Gigabyte Marines has decided to take that away from Ceberus Esports. And this is going to be a very powerful first pick. We saw yesterday Camille over and over again has been winning lanes against Fiora, defying logic, and now Ceberus Esports with that flexibility of having that Camille in the top lane, mid lane, or jungle is going to be a problem to be solved by GAM.
Yeah, speaking of Fiora, T3 is going to be picking up the duelist herself, a grand duelist. So, a lot of options here for Ceberus to try to deal with that. They can put Camille pretty much anywhere. We didn't see her at all today yet, so this is going to be Camille's first appearance, though we did see a Fiora already in the hands of Rira, I believe. So that would be successful for them. Now, Zaisu with a Kha'Zix pick. This is another kind of champion that signals, okay, there you go, the Lee Sin. So they are just going to go for some really early aggression, some really big jungle presence and priority for the top and the mid lane here, I believe. So that is kind of the style that that Vietnam likes doing. They have always historically been partial to that style. So not surprised to see it come out here, but the karma coming out for Genza.
Right, which brings the pressure onto GAM's side to prevent the Nautilus to be picked up. Second rotation, or they could pick it up for themselves. But then again, I just would like to re-emphasize this matchup between Lee Sin and Kha'Zix, Meliodas and Zissou. The key players to watch in this series is going to really go at it at the very beginning of this match. Now, we have to give it to Lee Sin, at least in the first few minutes of the game. But, as the game goes on, Kha'Zix would have more flexibility in his arsenal to really go for those skills, those assassinations that will be more impactful. So the story, at least for Ceberus side, is if they dominate the early game, GAM has no chance, at least during the 3 picks.
Exactly. That's just from what we can see right now, because the junglers are going to be an integral part of the victory of either one of these teams. So with those already locked in, we can kind of see the game forming before our eyes. Abanzo coming out, Lucian not going to be seeing play right now. Neither are Riven and Renekton, two very historically difficult opponents for if you're in the top lane. That is kind of GAM banking on maybe Y1 wanting to pick either of those to flex Camille over to BMM, but we shall see, because this Camille can still definitely win against Fiora. It's all a matter of timing and skill here in the top lane matchup. On
paper, Fiora should win instantly, right? Just the gap closing mechanic of lunge would be able to dodge away a lot of the damage from the hexacle Nematum. Sorry, not hexacle Nematum, but tactical sweep coming from the Camille, which is basically her best laning tool. Now, looking onto the bans, it's interesting that Ceberus Esports has decided to ban the Nautilus, but that actually does make sense because they have the Locks, and the Locks Nautilus lineup in the Dragon lane is just so kill heavy. The pressure with the roams, with the crowd control is just too much to handle. I do respect Ceberus Esports saying that, hey, you know what, we don't want to deal with that. However, Gigabyte Marines went for another very good MP champion. That's a Galio.
Yeah, but now we do see the Corki coming out, so that is going to be for BMM. And I wonder who Coyote's going to pick up then. to
Ooh.
go up against this Corgi. So, Grockus.
Akeno Classic.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, this is like the best champion of Akeno. Can be used defensively, can be used aggressively, can set up or can be the engager, can be the disengager. Now on the other side, I'm expecting Coyote to go for it. That's going to be the Zed. Yes, Coyote's matchup against the Corki in the mid lane should favor the Zed at level 5. We all know that. But one thing to note is if this Corki will be built defensively, where you might be seeing this Corki go for some Hullbreaker, which will give him enough HP to withstand the pressure coming from the Zed. Things could go stalemate the mid part of the game.
Yeah.
Still, again, looking at the lineup here by GAM, it's very clear what they want to do. They have very strong laners. They want to support Z2 in his conquest to dominate Meliodas. But this is going to be a tough task because Meliodas is just a different beast.
Yeah. So it really is going to be up to the rest of GAM to try to shut down this Lee Sin, because you know how effective a Lee Sin can be when he's gotten the slightest bit of a lead, and then he's suddenly all around the map, kicking you towards his teammates, and just making plays left, right, center. And Kha'Zix, a feast or famine champion. If he's not feasting, he is hungry. He is suffering. So if Meliodas can stunt the growth of that insect, then he's not going to be able to evolve to do better damage, and that could be the nail in the coffin for GAM. But we shall see, because it's all up to the execution. A lot of very skill-based champions here for both teams.
It's nothing surprising for the Vietnam region. They almost always go for this high skill cap champions, and I definitely respect that. They have the micro, they have the macro. All comes down to execution. You're right on that. I have to tip, at least in this game number 1 draft, over to Gigabyte Marines. I just feel that they have bred Ceberus Esports draft like a book, having to have that counter pick for the red side, which is basically what red side is for that counter pick, for that 5th pick. And now Coyote has a big responsibility in carrying this game for the side of Gigabyte Marines. We'll see. Ceberus Esports is still quote-unquote the best team in Vietnam after so many changes that has happened with teams in Vietnam. We'll see if that's going to still be true after the series, after this game.
Yeah, we definitely will, because after this series, there will be a clear number 1 and a clear number 2, especially since somebody will always qualify after the series, depending on, who wins the first, who wins 3 games. I almost said maps, because I've been watching a lot of VCT. But yeah, games here. Summoner's Rift. We're back, ladies and gents. Gigabyte Marines versus Ceberus Esports. And get ready for some flashy plays. Get ready for assassinations galore. And get ready for the match of a lifetime. This is Vietnam. 2 of the best teams against each other.
Right, and again, very even early, I would say, clear speed. And both of these teams know that, prioritizing the Baron lane side of the map is basically the way to go, at least in the recent meta of Wild Rift. So they're sending their supports to really supplement their Baron laners, at least in the first few minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's Genza, of course, with the range, very, very able to harass T3 and MT. So not a big surprise that that's who they sent instead of Akeno, because Akeno definitely can just barrel roll, keep away from the range of the Lux. So Beer is just going to have kind of a free lane to farm in, pretty much for both of them. They can just push in forever against this Gragas, but it's really more important to keep the pressure on Gigabyte Marines here.
That's true, and there's really no kill threat whatsoever. Yes, you have crowd control available for MT, but I don't think that will be available. Fiora is not really the best level 2 champion when it comes to team fights or skirmishes. So yeah, they have to wait for Zissou to be in the area and at least pose a threat in this over-aggressive lane of Ceberus Esports. Now, will that happen in the next minute or so? I don't think so. I think the action would happen at around 2 minutes and 30 and would have a very quiet early game, at least for this game 1.
Yeah, but they've already sussed out Meliodas. They've got the ward in, but he does land Sonic Wave. So they're gonna go in, gonna go for a very early dive. Level 3, MT gets taken down low.
Y1?
And oh, what a bait! Y1! He tried to go for it, but they're so low. Ceberus Esports has to back away here because that tower, it hits very, very hard at level 3.
And that's an advantage for Gigabyte Marines. Yes, they surrendered a couple of tower plates. Not really tower plates, but the summoners for MT has been burned away here. But you can see that Zizou
Y1?
Yeah, well, Zizou just had enough time to clear all his jungle camps. And now he's going back, has the tempo advantage against this Lee Sin. Of course, golems would respawn, so Gigabyte Marines might make a play on the top side in response to what happened.
Yeah, because we do see that Zizou is on the way there. Genza definitely just happy feet, just chilling and avoiding everything. Though he is taking quite a bit of damage from the minions. He will be back in away now. Y1 coming up to get back. And the back tidings here for both teams are pretty impeccable for what they have in store. But so far, not a lot of action. It's been 3 minutes, and both teams are playing incredibly cautiously just because they know one misstep can spell the start of a snowball.
Remember when I said that Hullbreaker Quirky is quite a thing?
Yep.
Just because of the HP. I think that is also the reason why BMM has elected to go for components of Black Cleaver just for that extra HP to survive some all-ins coming from Coyote. Yes, I do understand that he has the exhaust, but against the Zed and against the potential of that all-in 100-0, you need more stats. And if this will complete into the Black Cleaver, I'm not 100% sure everyone will be happy.
Coyote's got taken low though, so I don't think he's going to be risking an all-in right now. He's got to have to go back, and that is kind of the strength of Porky. He's got to bully Zizou out there as well, trying to go for the Valkyrie on him. Yep. Not going to burn any summoners, just saying, hey, Kha'Zix, get out of my jungle. As Meliodas chases him away, he's forced to use his ult to get out of there, and there is a very deep ward for CES.
And that final spark might just have done enough to defend this tower in the mid lane. This is kind of expected. Lee Sin should own the early game and should pose a threat against Zizou. Zizou respected that much and made sure to not be all in and went for...
Speaking of all in, there goes Coyote going for the first kill. Keno is ignited, but he just barely lives. Sips a little bit of his barrel and gets away from the Zed. The first attempt at an assassination will be a failure here.
That's true. Lucky for Keno that he did not surrender. And that's a Keno with Riot of Ages already complete. Remember, he was actually left by himself on the bot lane. So this quote-unquote support won't really be on the support duty, at least in the next few minutes, because he had access to a lot of resources. Now, the first 5 minutes, of course, we have the Rift Herald summoned, and also the dragon is already alive. Empty?
Pretty big clash here as BMM takes a lot of damage, but they're starting to contest. Where's the smite? Where's the smite? There's the smite. Finally, they did get it, and Zizou pops onto the Corgi. He does get it with the smite. The first blood, though, will be going onto the Zed. BMM did die there, but it was a 1-for-2. Beer and Coyote paid with their lives for that one kill on Zizou, and as well the Rift Herald was taken by Meliodas, so they're going to start charging that down mid lane with only T3 to defend it.
We'll see if Final Spark is not available, so they have to suffer a lot of HP loss on the tower in the mid lane. Look at the HP.
Oh,
that's 200. And remember, this is the biggest objective, at least in the first few minutes of the game. The mid lane tower is just so important in Wild Rift because it gives you access to the jungle entry points, and I just feel like Ceberus Esports, although the dragon was sent over to GAM, they had the tempo advantage right now, and it does look like they've done their homework. They have the Lee Sin, they should own the early game, and so far checklists is on their side.
Yeah, even though the Lee Sin hasn't really participated in any kills, he's still 0-0-0. He does have more gold than the Kha'Zix at this moment. Got his Youmu's completed compared to the Duskblade of Drakthar of Zizou. And really, he's going for more objective plays here. While the rest of the team did win that clash out, he knows that his time is more well spent, trying to deny these objectives from Gigabyte Marines. So with all of that being said, the macro play from these two teams, they are just matching each other. They're clearing waves. They're trying to find a way to bait a fight.
Yep.
But so far, they're both playing very cautious.
Still is what we expected. Again, these two teams, the best two teams in Vietnam right now. Beer?
Oh, there you go. Big land, and that is the Lux gone. He drank the beer. Empty is running away, and that Lux just evaporated to deaths already for Beer. Unfortunate, but that does start the snowball for CES. They will get that tower as well. So that's 2 outer turrets already gone for Gigabyte Marines. That opens up the map so much for CES.
Right, and this will just be the biggest playground Meliodas will ever need to really be, the menace in the early game. And did I mention that Akeno is actually the best Gragas support player I've ever seen, at least in Wild Rift competitive in a while? I mean, that kill over to Beer, it's all Akeno.
Yes. That was all him. He landed the perfect explosive barrel and explosive cast, and it is just chef's kiss. It just stunned the Lux for so long that everybody else was able to follow up. The Karma got in there, the leasing got in there. Everything just went right for Akeno, and I don't think he's really playing a support lane. I think this is 5 just fighters, 5 damage dealers for Ceberus. They don't want to waste Akeno's talents on just disrupting, because they're gonna go for a pretty big gank on Coyote here with 3 members going to attack the turret already. There you go, Dragon's Rage, 4 of them. Even Coyote has to ult, but can he get away? No, he cannot, as he gets taken out by the Karma. But 2 more members are in the fray. These when Empty are getting taken very low. Look at all that harass coming from the Corki and the Karma. Now Leona's coming back in. They're gonna be starting this fight, but GAM is going to walk away scot-free as Beer comes in. Just Coyote as the death, but CES, they're starting to walk away with this. 4K in the lead already.
Exactly, and again, it was made possible by the entry points that was opened up by the tower that was destroyed in the mid lane. Meliodas, again, very decisive in putting through all the combos that is needed to make sure that Coyote does not have any chance to react. Now, Coyote, 0-2. We remember this always. Assassins that goes behind basically stays behind.
Yes. Feast or famine. Right now, it's famine for GAM. They are hungry for kills, but Ceberus, they're just, they are the dog of the underworld, the guardian of the dead. But look at this, Empty! He just got caught there. He's gonna go golden into the Zonias, but it's still Ceberus who has the lead here. They have gotten the kill. And Akeno with an explosive cast! That is Coyote gone! Zisu is going to get Hextech Ultimatum, and that Kha'Zix is incredibly low. He gets away with a sliver of health. T3 trying to fight back, but that's still 2 free kills for Ceberus, and that opens up another Rift Herald.
Yeah, in this first 10 minutes, I think the biggest takeaway that we have is that you cannot give Akeno his Gragas. He's really known to be the best Gragas player, not just in Vietnam, but also in Southeast Asia. And looking at what happened there, GAM did decide to go for some plays, but was immediately punished by Ceberus Esports. Now, the next target is going to be the Ocean Dragon. Akeno still at the forefront of everything, boxing out whatever member GAM send to this dragon.
That is a wide Gragas if I've ever seen one. Y1 scrapping a little bit with T3. Meliodas is there to help, but there's a couple of scraps going on here in the river as well. Beer and Empty are going to be... Oh, look at that. Heroes entrance from Empty, and the grand duel has been issued. The challenge onto Y1, but there you go. Shelly is just going to charge down, get that turret, and a little bit more gold for Ceberus, but they know how to dance the dance of death against assassins. So Akeno is going to be here, going to be very wide, preventing the members of GAM from trying to go for the dragon, while 2 members back, and they're going to be back soon. Meliodas and Y1 already full health. They're going to be coming back. They're going to actually start the dragon, Akeno is, and they're daring Empty and Beer to come charging in.
It's so hard, especially if you're the Lux player, right? Oftentimes you want Lux to be established when it comes to possession, to box out, and to have that threat off that line binding. But if you are the one challenging, if you're the one face checking, you can't do anything. GAM can't do anything right now. And Ceberus Esports is just playing this like a book. Look at Akeno. just posing his threat.
He's-
Remember, this is a support that is going against Coyote, that did go against Coyote, at least in the side lanes earlier, was able to survive that initial encounter with Coyote, and from there was a snowball that turned into an avalanche. It's just so big of a lead right now for Ceberus Esports with 5k, 6k gold lead ahead against GAM. Right now, the best way for GAM to come back here is with the help of Ceberus Esports. If Ceberus Esports will commit silly mistakes, then GAM might have a chance. But looking at what's happening right now in this game number 1, it does feel like that Ceberus Esports has a firm grasp of this game.
Exactly. This is a game that they've played before, you know, and Gigabyte Marines, they are on the struggle bus right now. 0-3 on the Zed. The only kill they have is on the Kazakhs, and he wasn't able to translate that into anything meaningful for the team. So Ceberus, with their composition, just being able to disrupt any assassination attempt, they are now the ones invading. And Zaysu has to get away! He's not going to be able to get away. Dragon's Rage into the Sonic Boom, into everything, every little bit of damage from Meliodas. That Kazakhs just got stomped on by a blind man. So now they're going to be able to take this turret with no problems. GAM has to back away. They know they're not threatening. And look at that. Akedo just harassing over the wall with his barrel rolls. And okay, there he goes. Explosive cast. Beer, he doesn't even have Zonius. He's just gonna get killed off the bat by Genza. I think that was an auto attack that got him, not even the Mantra Q. So big wins for Ceberus. They've taken 2 inner turrets and they're knocking at the base.
It's a go next angle. G, then this is a go next angle.
Yes, it is.
I just don't see any, you know, openings for GAM. If I'm going to put a number on it, like the win rate right now of Ceberus Esports, at least in this game, is almost at 95%. All they have to do is to wait for GAM to face check in a Baron takedown. And remember, looking at the lineup of Ceberus Esports, they might not be, you know, the fastest Baron taking team, but because of the lead that they have, and you know, just the fact that they have a Corki, it's respectable. This Baron would quickly melt at this early juncture of the game.
Oh, let's go, Meliodas! With an insect play, Coyote is the victim, but look at that. The Akedo is going golden. He's going to dodge the final spark with a flash, but look at that. They burned so much utility just trying to keep Coyote alive, but that did go a little bit south for Ceberus. Zaisu looking for an opportunity to not find one. That wasn't a mistake per se, but definitely a little bit less of a sure step from Ceberus than it was the previous attempts.
I think Meliodas is just now playing with food, going for the unnecessary
flashy plays.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really needed. Remember, if you're the Lee Sin, especially in this big of an amount of a lead, there's really no desperation needed for you to be placed. I mean, if you connect onto that instant kick, and if it resulted into a kill, great. But how big of an impact will that really be? I don't think it will be that big of an impact. I think that flash could have just been preserved for the next fight, which might happen in the next few minutes, because Ceberus Esports just has the tools, just has the tempo and advantage to threat this Baron. Just plant those wards and play it safe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ceberus is going to stay towards the Baron, and they're going to keep that threat alive just to keep GAM away from their split pushing Camille. And yeah, you can see every member of Ceberus is now looking towards the top lane. They're hanging around there. They're they're saying, this is our jungle now. Get out of our jungle. As Gigabyte's Marines, they are getting slowly choked out of this game. The resources, they can't even fight for it. The jungle camps are being taken by Akedo.
It's so scary, right? The only face-checking champion that Gigabyte Marines has right now is going to be the Galio. And you actually need the hero's entrance available. Now, if this Galio face-checks and gets bursted down, the hero's entrance won't be available.
Oh, he did get the Dragon's Rage because of the flash, but that doesn't matter because Zaisu is still going to die. MT tried to go for a heroic entrance, but he's just going to get, well, kind of damage here. Look at that, though. Coyote at the back, just living with a sliver of health and with the help of a luck shield. With 10 more seconds to go until the dragon, Ceberus has successfully pushed away Gigabyte Marines, and they're going to be able to heal up, get the Scuttle Crab, get the Drake, and damn, I really think it's back to the drawing board for them because Ceberus is not making any mistakes.
No, not at all. I think that this game was just one kill away and one dragon away from it being a complete stomp or a complete perfect game, I would say. But Ceberus Esports is just, this is kind of expected. GAM can also be in the position of Ceberus Esports. It just so happened that during the early parts of the game, Coyote went for the gauntlet of going for that all-in against Akeno. Did not happen. Imagine if that first blood went over to the side of Coyote. Could have been a very different game altogether.
I can imagine, because then it would start to snowball. But speaking of, look at this Akeno, he's gonna disrupt everybody. The explosive cast ripping through Gigabyte Marines. That's 2 kills already. Coyote and Empty are gone. The Baron is open, and Ceberus are looking to end this game with the help of Mr. Baron.
Let's see if there will be a miraculous steal. Zissou is still in the area, but still is at half health. Hextech Ultimatum not available. Zissou will just run away. And no chance at all for GAM to at least threaten a steal against Ceberus Esports.
Yeah, this is not a perfect game by far from CES, but it is damn close. Because look at that. They've only given up 1 kill, 1 tower, 1 dragon. But the rest belongs to Ceberus. They are flexing their power here. Everybody's got a Zonia now. So the playmaking potential for CES, their engages are going to be so deadly. They can bait out everything. There's also a Guardian's Angel on the Lee Sin. So Meliodas, he can be as fancy as he wants with his footwork here, and he won't be punished at all.
Yep. Knocking down onto the inhibitor turrets. And Y1 still has the engage potential. Coyote going in, but BMM has the Zonias.
Yeah, and now look at that. Vigal got kicked out. Empty is going to have an empty life bar very soon. Yeah, as he goes down. Now Coyote is looking to be the next victim. No, T3 is just barely dodging out on that. But the Nexus, it looks like, to be the next focus here for CES. They want to close this game out, have a very dominating lead, preserve that momentum going into the series, and make Gigabyte Marines think twice. But Gigabyte Marines, they are going to try to make this a little bit harder. Look at the health bars. They're still very low for Ceberus. A mistake can happen here. Akeno goes down. That's a 2nd kill only for Gigabyte Marines. But look at the Zissou could go big. He does take out the Camille, but he gets killed by himself as BMM, just the auto followed him as he hopped away. The Nexus is at 1184 health, but GAM have successfully kept CES at bay.
It will respawn. It will regen. The Nexus health will regen, but I don't think it will, be enough to put Ceberus Esports out of the favorites, at least in this game number 1. Because in the next 25 seconds, guess what? Elder Dragon will respawn, and Elder Dragon basically wins games. And Gigabyte Marines, do they have the necessary tools to face check? Look at MT, the only face checking champion.
Meliodas just 1v2ing. No fear. Absolutely no respect for T3. Hero's entrance just to save the Fiora. And Meliodas, the challenge has been issued, but he denies it. The teleport comes in, and Y1 is there. They're just going to go for the... Yeah, 5-man Elder. This should be the end of the game after a team fight with the Elder. They have Baron, they have Elder, Gigabyte Marines. What can they do here? They're trying their best. Empty is going to risk everything. He gets taken down by the Ignite, and now it's all up to Coyote. He tries to go for the ultimate, but he gets bursted down, and he doesn't even get the kill because of the Guardian's Angel, and now it's T3. He gets executed, and it's all up to Beer. 1 versus 5. Lux versus the world. But I don't think there's anything he can do here. It's definitely going to be Ceberus taking down Gigabyte Marines for the first game.
Beer cannot hold this defense whatsoever. Game number 1 goes over to Ceberus Esports in a very dominating fashion. Is it expected? I didn't expect it, but you know what? This is a very welcome side. If this is the version of Ceberus Esports that will be going on to WRL, I like their chances against the Chinese teams.
Most definitely. I mean, Vietnam as a competitive region in both League of Legends and Wild Rift have been so competitive compared to the rest of C that, if this is the showing that is going to be consistently giving us, then there is a very, very good chance that they can compete with the best. They can trade blows with some of the best Chinese teams in the regular season. Because, I mean, Gigabyte Marines, they are also considered one of the best teams in Vietnam, but they just got dismantled, absolutely red to filth, got counterplayed, got outplayed, their assassin composition got defended against, and Ceberus, this is just a masterclass in how to choke out a team.
Yep. Also, to be fair, there was a slight window of opportunity for Coyote to be the one on the snowball end of things. It was on the bot lane, but Akeno was again able to survive that 100-0 attempt coming from Coyote. And to add insult onto the injury, we saw what happened during the Dragon fight, where DMM, with a very good usage of the package, yes, the Dragon went over the side of Gigabyte Marines, but at the end of it all, having those two kills, having the advantage of Meliodas just soloing the Rift Herald just gave a lot of tempo to Ceberus Esports. And now looking at the replay, it's just all Ceberus Esports, highlights after highlights. And if this is going to be a foreshadowing of what's going to happen in games 2 and 3, I would say this is going to be a short series.
Yeah, well, if I were to give Gigabyte Marines a little bit of advice, you know, if it would behoove me to give them some advice, because for I am but a lowly, you know, I'm not a pro player, I'm in the Philippine server, but I would just go back to the drawing board, not do something as risky as an assassin composition, just because Ceberus, they know how to play against that. When Meliodas is on that Lee Sin, you do not want to have a feast or famine comp trying to go up against this man, because he will be everywhere on the map. So you really need to try to get your best, scaling composition maybe, but then you also run the risk of Ceberus going for an early game comp. So it really comes down to how GAM is going to draft in the next couple games, because look at all of this damage, so evenly distributed between Ceberus. My God.
It's crazy. I didn't expect the Karma would be able to deal this this much damage, but I guess it's because Karma is often ignored during any of the team fights. He had very good transcendent embraces. It's a good thing that we were able to highlight the jungle matchup between Meliodas and Zissou. And again, blind picking Kha'Zix into Meliodas, I don't think that was the best idea, because Meliodas just went for, okay, alright, so you're going to pick Kha'Zix to me, then I'm going to pick the counter pick to that, and that's basically the Lee Sin. And Meliodas, control the early game, was able to help Akeno in the bot lane to really make plays. And again, this jungle support synergy from Ceberus Esports is just on fire.
Yeah, 10.0 KDA, 59% kill participation. This man just was the screwdriver that dismantled everything about Gigabyte Marines. So we'll see how they're gonna be able to just even try to shut him down in the next couple of games, because
I mean, if you are going to leave Gragas open, it still is also an option for MT to go for. MT is also very good on this champion. Man, Vietnam, Gragas supports, name a better duo. I can't think of anything else. But there you go. Camille has been banned away, which means that Ceberus Esports would have access to Fiora that could easily be countered by a potential Renekton or a Jax. We'll see. But I will be surprised if Ceberus Esports does let go of the Fiora.
Whoa.
Oh, they do indeed let go of the Fiora and would go for Karma.
Okay, so first picking a Karma for Genza. I mean, we did see Genza perform really well on that Karma, even though it was kind of understated. Genza was still able to pump out the same amount of damage as the rest of the team, but that, I think, as a priority pick, it's a little bit of a strange choice. But if we've learned anything from game number 1, Ceberus, they like counter picking. Okay, so now MT is gonna get the Gragas. Aatrox as well is available for T3, so a lot of options here for Y1 and Meliodas to go with.
But the big problem here is Ceberus Esports has access to the Nautilus Karma.
Oh my God, you're right.
This is a lot of shields.
How does this get through? How does this get through?
Remember the problem earlier by MT, wherein he wasn't able to really face check, but because you have a Nautilus and Karma on your end, plus a Riven that is all about shields, you have a lot of access to this, to damage mitigation. that can also be the crowd control factor needed to control Aatrox. This lineup of Ceberus Esports, this three-man lineup, this Karma, Nautilus, and Riven is already so scary.
I know, and with a Corki being the next pick here for Coyote, you know, he was pretty unfortunate on that Zed. Absolutely got shut down. Nothing happened for him. I don't think he got a single kill. He may have gotten one, but it was unremarkable. So now Corki going to be a little bit safe play behind the Gragas. But how are you going to play behind the Gragas when there is a Nautilus zooming towards you, pressing his ultimate button? And then what do? You just jump up in the air, you get stunned by the Riven, you get knocked up, and there's nowhere to go. So already, yes, I am very afraid of CES's lineup, just from the first three.
True, they're one of the scariest duos that we have in the Dragon Lane. I did discuss this prior to game number 1. Karma Nautilus still is, I believe, S tier when it comes to pairings. But is it unbeatable? I don't think so. There still is a way for you to control, you know, this utility-centered composition. You have to split them up. You have to face them as if they're not, you know, a team. And one way to really split the map is by having Aatrox. I will be surprised. I won't be surprised if GAM would have 2 side laners, at least in this lineup. I do understand that Corki could be put in the mid lane. I actually do prefer, you know, the Corki to be put in the Dragon lane and have another side laner in the mid lane.
Yeah, that is a very,
there you go,
very real possibility now that Renekton has been picked up. So it could still go either way. Renekton could be a flex here. T3 probably going to be on that Renekton, but Coyote and Beer could switch it up. It could be, you know, Corki in the mid lane still, and then you just shove Aatrox down into the Dragon lane. But okay, so now a Yone and Akeno. What is he gonna pick up for? Oh my god! Look at all of these 80 champions being enabled by the Karma and Nautilus. This Corki is not going to have a good time.
You won't be able to face them 5v5. They just so have they have many tools in their disposal that would be able to win the 5v5 team fights. You have the Cyclone, you have the Shield. And again, the thing that we discussed about the shields of Karma and this Nautilus being, you know, the biggest tank out there. Now, Gigabyte Marines went for the Pogue composition. This is going to be very interesting. I did say, you know, I wanted some side laners, but this is something that I want to see. Because if there is one thing that you could actually do with the Pogue composition, that is to make sure that, you know, this Nautilus won't have, you know, the best of times with his shields. Because you could just build the anti-shield item.
Yeah, I mean, if he tries to get even near you, you got that piercing arrow, you got everything that Corki does. So it will be the Aatrox in the jungle with T3 in the top. Renekton against Riven, Taylor's oldest time. All comes down to skill, but the Yone in the jungle against Aatrox, that is something that we're kind of used to seeing in the top lane, but definitely will work out for Meliodas and Zissou here. Although I am still kind of leaning on the side of Meliodas just because Zissou will take some time to get scaling. BMM though, definitely in a little bit of a losing lane against the Corki, but you know, we will see, because in the early phases, if he doesn't give up a kill to the Corki, then he can just start roaming.
True, and again, you know, just the freedom of Ceberus Esports as well to choose from who's going to engage. Is it going to be the Nautilus? Is it going to be the Wukong? And remember, Corki, although he has access to Valkyrie, Varus doesn't have access to any mobility mobility skill, which means that it's going to be a very easy target for this 2 engaged champions to have the time of their life. As we head over to game number 2 here, G10.
Yeah, auto lose, because I mean, Varus against this composition of Ceberus, he's gonna have to play extremely far back. Beer and Empty are going to have to be on their toes today, just like a toddler learning how to use a toilet for the first time. They got to be on their toes, just because there's really so much risk when you're trying to face up against Ceberus comp here. Oh, actually, very interesting. Zissou choosing to go for steal here. Empty is going to try to keep him safe. So going to deny some jungle XP from Meliodas. Just kind of frustrate him a little bit.
True, and it's something that we often not see in Wild Rift. Often we see, handshakes happen over and over again. And also, again, just would like to highlight the fact that with the lineup of Gigabyte Marines, they do have access to a user of Serpent's Fang, which is basically anti-shield item that we do have. It's a perfect fit with the Varus because basically it provides you armor penetration, which is the best stat that you could ever ask for.
Oh, hold up! Look at this! A flash from Y1 and 3T3 lives just barely. All sums gone from the Baron lane. They have to heal both of them. Yeah. What a spicy exchange.
I feel like he missed, right? He preemptively flashed. Assumed that T3 would flash. However, T3 didn't flash on time. So that didn't actually went to his favor.
Meliodas though! No. Because there's no sums on the Renekton, he can't get away. No slice and dice available. First blood for the jungle of Ceberus. And we've seen this before. If Meliodas gets going, he gets snowballed.
My god. A very good start from Meliodas getting that first blood pool. Yes, Zissou had been a nuisance trying to get some camps. But he would take hero kills or champion kills against
any day,
right? Compared to jungle camps. We'll see though. Ceberus Esports again in the lead very early, 2 minutes in. Although again on the scaling composition, since they have the double marksman for the side of Gigabyte Marines, I feel that the late game should be on their side.
Yeah, definitely. If it does get to late game, then Gigabyte Marines has an avenue to get back into it as long as they don't let, a Keno get in. Or really anybody, Meliodas, Keno, BMM. If they don't allow that avenue to engage, then GAM has a way to get in. But now 3 members going to try to get a Keno. Of course, he's just going to Spider-Man back out because that's what Nautilus does. But BMM is getting pretty low. I don't think they want to dive, but that is definitely a lot of pressure onto the mid laner of CES.
That's actually a small thing that I really like about Ceberus Esports. They're not going to let go of the lane priority in the mid lane. They wanted to make sure that the wave won't push onto the tower so that Coyote won't have the easiest recall of his life. Look at this. On the top side, Ceberus Esports sending 3 people.
Yep, and those 3 people are going to go for a dive right here. Y1 is the one to start it as Akeno. He's the one tanking the turret. Empty has to flash out. T3 is gone and empty. His life bar is not yet empty, but the Dominus did save him for just a little bit. Akeno paid for his life, but look at that. That actually might have just killed Coyote. Oh my god, as Y1 does take down Empty. He's so low, but there you go. A smite! The smite will secure that kill. Meliodas did die for it though. Y1 is going to not give the kill over to Zissou or to T3. He's going to keep giving it to Coyote. But after all is said and done, Ceberus comes away with 1 kill more than Gigabyte.
That's true, and for me, Ceberus Esports actually had the right thing in mind. At BM, nope, that's just going to be a decoy out. Chains will miss, and no harm, no foul in the mid lane. Again, just going back to what their plan was. He was level 4. Okay, no, another fight.
Oh yeah, as Empty is already suffering, he's gone, and look at all the CC! Zissou and Coyote couldn't do anything to save their teammate. That was just a very free kill. Zissou trying to go for the blue buff, but he's going to get aggressed on. Yeah, the 4-man is just running up into the jungle because they know they have all the control here. The Varus has not yet scaled up enough to be a big threat, so they know this is their avenue to try to abuse the early weakness of Gigabyte Marines.
That's true. And again, just Ceberus Esports knowing their win condition on the top lane. Dominus was not available for T3. Go ahead and dive. Burn a lot of summoner spells. Empty face check. Easy kill for them as well. If it was Beer, it's the same concept. It's the same thing that's going to happen. No mobility skills for Beer on this Varus. It's going to be an easy execution for Ceberus Esports. And again, it may just be 1K, but you could feel that Ceberus Esports is running away with things once again in this game number 2.
Yeah, it's the confidence that they're displaying every time they try to go for an engage. You can see the respect that Gigabyte Marines is showing them, while Ceberus, they are just constantly trying to harass, constantly trying to get an engage, trying to get a dredge line off, and they're already starting off this Rift Herald, just daring Gigabyte to try to do something, as Zissou has already found himself in, and he's gonna get engaged on already! His health bar has melted! He got ignited, but he will live for now, as Coyote makes the mistake of his life and tries to go deep against Ceberus as he pays for it with a kill. And that is not what you want to see with your mid laner, especially after his performance in the first game.
It's just so easy for Ceberus Esports, the ease of execution for the squad. 3 people could actually engage. I thought it was just going to be Nautilus and Wukong on the engage duty, but I did forget. You could actually use the Fate Shield for that engage tool. Zissou had no chance. Was lucky enough to survive that engage, but gifting over Rift Herald over the side of Ceberus Esports with the Dragon still alive, it could be 2 objectives heading over to Ceberus Esports in the first 6 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and that is exactly what Ceberus Esports wants, but this is what GAM wants now. They want to get a kick onto Akeno. He's not going to be able to Spider-Man out of the way because he did get caught by Zissou. Got pulled back. They will miss it on the Genzo, but he's being a little bit too sloppy. Did get away before his health bar was taken out too low. But now that does open up GAM for the Dragon, but Meliodas is there. He's gonna go for the kill onto Coyote. He's targeting the Skorky, but he will just get back out. That auto attack will finish it off! Long range fade away! And that will be the Drake for Gigabyte Marines.
And that's actually Coyote just knowing Meliodas would go in. I didn't expect Coyote to go for a very preemptive Valkyrie, but if he had not done that, Meliodas would connect onto the Fate Shield, killing Coyote off, and probably gifting over a Dragon over to the Ceberus Esports side. Now, GAM is still showing some signs of life here, Gita.
Yeah, definitely. They're 6-5, but Y1, he's going to be in a lot of trouble, but it may be Coyote and Zissou are in trouble because now Genza has arrived, so has Meliodas. Yes, the Riven is dead, but now Empty is going to be running away, and okay, now he's gone. The Yone has returned to his shadow, but now, look at it, Akeno, he doesn't even need to be Gragas. Look at this, he's just keeping everything down. Oh, that explosive cast may actually have hurt more than helped, because now, look at this, he's also just given away all the kills to Meliodas, who does die to the turret, but that is still a net positive for Ceberus Esports.
Gigabyte Marines though might get their tower in the mid lane. That's actually true.
That's pretty good.
Beer
yeah.
had the time of his life to take down the tower in the mid lane. So yes, it was a net positive for the side of Ceberus Esports. After getting that more important objective of the tower, I dare say that Gigabyte Marines would be happy with that exchange.
Yeah, but that it's all being said, Otto Lewis, the gold lead is still pretty minuscule here. Just not even like a couple hundred, because they are just neck to neck right now. Gigabyte does have one more Drake, and that kind of just speaks to how well Gigabyte has been, farming these objectives, these minions, and they're not letting the aggressiveness and the invades of Ceberus get to them.
Right, and you would expect that, with how Ceberus Esports started this game, that this could, the gold lead would have ballooned to 3K by now. But again, yeah, you're right. Gigabyte Marines showing some signs of life, was able to get a pick on Akeno on the mid lane earlier, and just before the Dragon got consumed by Gigabyte Marines, they were able to get a shutdown kill against Meliodas. And now this double marksman composition is starting to at least get those items. They're still far away from the, the scarier level of marksman, but still this is a positive sign for Gigabyte Marines.
Yeah, this is much better than the absolute shutout that was game number 1, because they are actually fighting back. Could be anybody's game depending on how a couple of key team fights go. Ceberus, though, they know that they can still get back into this. They can still start to shut out Gigabyte, but conversely, Gigabyte, they are starting to scale. Already see that Triforce, already see that Storm Razor on the Corki, and of course, Beer, he is going to start to hurt in, I think, around minute 14. It's going to be very difficult to get in on that Varus without getting, pierced for a third of your health. Oh, that was very risky for Akeno if he actually got that edge line, because not a lot of his team is there, but look at this, a Cyclone engage from BMM! It does kill him. That's a double kill already for Empty. That was a big mistake for CES, and Akedo may be the next one to pay for it. As Genza, he's gonna get chased down. That is 4 kills to 0 and a Herald for Gigabyte Marines. Suddenly, the swing for Gigabyte, and it's gonna be an ace. A double kill for Beer too.
I wanted to see a replay of that. At first, I thought that was the engage needed by Ceberus Esports, but GAM was so ready for them, having the 4 people just burst down all the engage of Ceberus Esports, taking them down one by one was what was needed by Gigabyte Marines to turn this game over his head. That was an ace. That was an ace. The even game that we had earlier, G10, all of a sudden is now a 4K goal lead in favor of Gigabyte Marines. What a showing, what a turnaround.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It all comes down to a couple of key moments, and that was the key moment for Gigabyte Marines there. That team fight, that one mistake that was committed by BMM gave Gigabyte Marines just such a big swing in gold, a big swing in momentum, that now it's Ceberus who have to be on their toes. They're the ones who have to kind of give some respect towards the river and towards their own jungle even, because 2 of their outer turrets are already gone, and the 3rd one in the Dragon Lane is on its last legs.
And we did say that Beer does not have access to any mobility tool, so going for a very defensive item in Edge of Night does actually make sense. Now it's going to be a lot harder for Ceberus Esports to assassinate this Varus, and this Varus, as you said, it hurt at around 14 minutes with 2 items already completed, armor penetration in both of them. Empty though.
Oh, but this is a pretty big engage as Empty does get caught, but he gets his Zonias. He's out scot-free. And the rest of Gigabyte Marines, they are on the chase. Are they going to re-engage? Actually, Zissou tries to go for something, but no. It's just a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of how's your dad, how's your uncle, as they are just trying to start this Infernal Drake, very, very key Drake, but Akedos, he's attempting, he's going for the dredge line, but he didn't fight anything. BMM playing a very dangerous game with T3 right now, and no kills, but it's just a back and forth, the Dragon Dance, and the Rip Herald in the mid lane, summoned by Gigabyte Marines. That's going to apply a lot of pressure, but there it is, Infernal Drake takes out, Y1 gets shuttled out, but Empty is so incredibly low. Meliodas, he's gonna get one! He's gonna get absolutely 1 kill! That is 1 out of 5 that they need, and they just carefully danced around to get that kill. Genza may be paying here, but look at that, that's another kill onto Zissou. T3 and Coyote there now on the back foot, as Ceberus have found a way in to get a couple of kills.
True, and again, Empty started that fight with a very good explosive gas. 4 men was hit by the explosive gas, but again, without that disengage option already in your arsenal, it would be a disaster.
Oh, speaking of engage, look at this. Depth charge into dredge line. Akedo just daring T3 to come in. He popped the Dominus, and now Y1. He's going to take this turret, and he's gonna try to 1v1 T3. Now Genza is there to support him and keep him from getting killed. And look at this, no Varus shot, just trying to clear the way, but that could have been very bad for Gigabyte Marines.
That's true. Y1 though was still able to get the prize, getting that tower, and again, Gigabyte Marines still has the scaling advantage. Remember, this is a double marksman composition. Now that they have 2 dragons, 2 important dragons that you would love to have on the marksman, the Ocean and the Infernal, things are looking bright for Gigabyte Marines. Don't get me wrong, Ceberus Esports still has the ability to win this. How? By, pulling through a very good engage. You still have Nautilus, you still have Wukong, you still have the Yone, and also Riven that would still be able to kill this damage dealers by GAM in a split second. So it's going to be very interesting as to what's going to happen in the next few minutes, but I do believe we'll enter a lull state and wait for the next objective to spawn up before Ceberus or even GAM makes something out of nothing.
Yeah, I think it's whoever is able to do, to dance around better will be coming out. A little bit of a questionable engage there from BM, but he did drive away the rest of Gigabyte Marines from, applying pressure in the mid lane. So while he did pay for it with some health, he will be able to get get away scot-free, but Gigabyte, they are just congregating around the mid lane, daring Ceberus to try to do anything. But wow, look at the damage that just came from one Mantra Q onto Zissou. Almost a third of his health.
underrated aspect of a Karma, the damage that is being dished out by this champion. Definitely first pick worthy, at least in my eyes, in this game. So Ceberus Esports, now they want to defend this. No, they're not going to defend this tower. It's so risky. Gigabyte Marines already sent 3 people on the bot side, on the bot side of the map. So Gigabyte Marines would just be getting some undiscovered gold. With getting that tower in the process. Ceberus Esports, would they threat the Baron? I don't think so. Especially with Coyote in the area.
Yeah, it would be a little bit too risky to try to start it right now, though it would be a great bait. So they're just going to go for the objective that they know they can take, which is the top turret. And that does open up the map a little bit, so they're not as threatened by the Baron. Oh my god, that's half of Gensa's health! Went through the shield, Autolus! Through the shield!
I know. It's the Serpent's Fang special. Remember, this is the anti-shield.
Yes, the anti-shield
item that we do have here in League of Legends Wild Rift. Outside of the fact that armor penetration would just make Varus deal true damage. Also, Baron was actually spitting on the Karma, so that's another armor shred. That arrow was definitely highlight worthy, but no harm, no foul.
Yeah, I would say that was a lot of harm, but yeah, no foul. No foul as of yet. They are being incredibly careful because they know the next team fight can determine how the rest of the game swings. So now you can see a lot of vision being set up by both sides, more towards the Baron for Ceberus and more towards the Drake and lower side of the jungle. But here's the engage onto T, but he is going to just go into the Zhonya's arrow. Will miss, but Beer could just decimate Ceberus by being 1 billion miles away from them. So Ceberus, they need to be on their toes. They have to be mechanically perfect. They have to be dodging out. As BMM here, maybe going for it. Engage. He does go for it. The Cyclone comes in, but Empty is in the middle of everybody. He's stacking so much. Oh my god, Akeno's coming through, but Empty, look at that. He will. Oh god, it's Akeno who actually goes down first. Y1 goes down, Meliodas falls. Zissou is alive and well. He is just dominated. A double kill coming in for Beer, and BMM is going to run away. That's 4 for nothing. And Ceberus, that should be it with 35 seconds. Akeno's up in 27. There's no way that Gigabyte's Marines does not get this turret. And look, BMM still being harassed, chased away by the support. Empty. That's it. That's the Nexus gonna fall, and Gigabyte Marines bring it 1-1.
What a way to finish game number 2 for the side of Gigabyte Marines. I really thought that Ceberus Esports would play it patient, but no, they decided to go for that very risky invade onto the red buff. That fail flash coming from Akeno did actually start the onslaught coming from Gigabyte Marines, and Gigabyte Marines is saying, hey, you know what? Autolus G10, it's not going to be a 3-0. We would be extending this series at least onto a game number 4.
You know what? These two teams are the pinnacle of Vietnamese Wild Rift, and I would be disappointed, Autolus, if we didn't get, a really good show. And this game was a really good show from Gigabyte Marines. They were down in the first half, not gonna lie, they got us there. But the way that they just had so much tenacity and were able to counter the moves that Ceberus Esports made, it was absolutely beautiful. And then the risky propositions that Ceberus tried to do just kind of did not work out for them. They didn't play as cleanly. They played a lot more riskily. And look at that, Meliodas actually got killed there by the turret shot as he got the smite onto Coyote. So, man, if they just tried to be a little bit more patient, a little bit more clean in their engages, that could have been a different story. But, well, Gigabyte Marines shows that they can punish mistakes very heavily.
These are the highlights in the first few minutes in where we saw Ceberus Esports getting the lead. But I believe this was one of the biggest turnaround. That last bullet hitting Meliodas, killing Meliodas, actually spelled disaster. Or I would say the momentum breaker for the side of Ceberus Esports. And this was another fight that they quote-unquote won. But look at the mid lane. Beer had the time of his life getting access to the mid lane tower. And remember, if you have a double marksman composition, all you have to do is to buy time and wait for your marksman to go online.
Exactly. There is no reason to, throw the game, not waiting for your marksman to just be able to deal damage from 1 billion miles away. That was a very, very beautiful ult, but it did not really do well for Ceberus Esports. That just kind of spelled their doom. That was the big momentum shift in favor of Gigabyte Marines because they just got 4 for absolutely nothing. 5 for nothing. Yeah, this was the ace for 0.
Yep.
And that piercing arrow just pierced through that Riven's heart.
True. And it wasn't over at that point. And Ceberus Esports had the opportunity to win this team fight. Look at this. Meliodas was able to assassinate one member of Gigabyte Marines, and I just thought that, you know, Ceberus Esports would still, you know, be patient with their execution. This was the last team fight that really spelled disaster for the side of Ceberus Esports. The failed flash coming from Keno, basically the bullying from Gigabyte Marines started from that point on. Zissou on this Aatrox was just a beast at the front line of everyone, making sure that the marksmen are alive and dishing damage.
Yeah, and I'm very interested to see those damage stats because okay, Coyote with 20k, Beer did not do as much as I thought, but that's because he just scaled up later in the game and then he started doing the big deeps. But Coyote throughout the game just consistently landing all of his pokes, got to 20,000 damage. Although admittedly, this was, you know, a lower damage game than we saw in the last one. It was fraught to lose. It was very, very fraught with so many moments where it could have gone either way. But at the end of the day, Gigabyte Marines narrowly edged out the Ceberus Esports.
You know what, Jitan? One thing that I believe is a positive after all this shenanigans in this game number 1 and game number 2 is that the game time doesn't reach 20 minutes. You know, we're still in for a short game. Very decisive play style from both these teams. And Coyote, the man himself, I believe he's, you know, one of the best mid laners that we have in Vietnam, the MVP. Last international tournament that I can remember him dominating, was able to wield his team onto a game to win. Very well deserved. Damage per minute of 1,000, over 1,000, and more importantly, did not surrender a untimely death against his opponent.
Yeah, most definitely. He just played.
Gigabyte Marines is on the blue side. Ceberus Esports finally on the red side. So this is going to be very interesting. If GAM would let go of the Gragas, I expect CES to just go RP1 or Red Pick 1, Red Pick 2 on that Gragas right away.
Yeah, most definitely. Because Akeno has shown such proficiency on that champion that it would be definitely a blunder for Gigabyte Marines if they either give it away or fail to ban it. Because you know, there are so many champions to prioritize in the batting phase. That Ashe as well. I don't think we're ever going to see an Ashe in this matchup just because never in Vietnam. They just play Ashe like differently. Me and Yang watched the C teams. There was an Ashe that just absolutely dominated almost every single enchanted crystal arrow. Hit the mark from like miles away. So Vietnam is so much more proficient in that. So we're never going to see that either. Now, Gragas is open. Gigabyte Marines is first pick. But so open is Karma, Nautilus, so many good champions to pick up here. But again, Ceberus has 2 picks. Okay, so they're not going to give Akeno that Gragas.
Good job! Right?
Good pick, good pick.
That's the very first thing that you want to take away against Ceberus Esports. Again, GAM showing respect. That is very well deserved by this player. Now, this is going to be very interesting because this Jace is a signature champion of Meliodas, right? So I do understand that, you know, Jace should be played as a bully, you know, will have access to a lot of skills and is very lane dominant champion. But here in Wild Rift, Jace is also very strong in the jungle. So that could be a very interesting point as well as we head into game number 3.
Yeah, Meliodas and Y1, they're going to pick up the Karma and Jace here. So Jace, this is a very interesting pick. Could go 3 lanes, even 4 lanes, this Jace. So very interesting flex pick for Ceberus Esports. They can just throw that Jace somewhere and, you know, not have to worry about it. Coyote with the Corki had a lot of success, did most damage in the team in the last game, but T3 sticking with the Riven. I wonder how that's going to work out because he can still get counterpick. Not Camille. Camille is out, but he could still get Jax. Oh my god, Jax! That is the classic counter to Riven, guys. From how long ago was it when Riven was released in the League PC?
2013, I guess. Yeah,
2013, Season 3. Jax was always the one to pick whenever you're going into a Riven. And things have not changed. Things have not changed. I am surprised to see Jax come through, but that does spell good things for Y1.
They need a very strong side lane support for the side of Ceberus Esports. Maybe the Nautilus, something to take care of this Jax. Because again, Jax is not going to be the best champion out there in the first few minutes of the game. So you need to unlock his potential. Remember, he doesn't have a weapon, so you have to guide him through to a point, that he's going to be the unstoppable 1v5 machine in the later stages of the game. But we'll see, though.
Imagine if Jax had a real weapon.
Well, I mean, there were skins that did have a Jax with weapon, right? Like the ultimate skin of Jax. Now, looking at the bans here, they are now saying, Ceberus Esports is now saying that, you know what, we saw the virus earlier. It negated a lot of the shields that we have just because of the access onto the Serpent's Fang. Now Meliodas is switching things up and is saying that, you know what, I want to carry this game by myself. It's going to be hard though, because just looking at their lineup, you have a late game Jax and a late game Shyvana, so I'm not 100% sure what their plan is right now. Gigabyte Marines might just be gifted a win here.
Okay, so the way I see it, Meliodas and Y1 have a lot of trust in BMM, Genza, and Akeno to not give away kills to Gigabyte Marines because they are playing scaling champions. We did see the first Shyvana in the hands of BRU earlier. What is this? Olaf! Olaf against Shyvana.
Champion. Yeah, I respect that. And Gigabyte Marines, it's not the crowd control that you're negating this time around. Oftentimes you see an Olaf, it is picked against heavy crowd control champions, but What's now happening? This is going to be a mid lane this is going to be a bot lane Nasus plus Karma, so it's just about spamming the Spirit Fire, owning the zones and shredding armors. But it's all about Gigabyte Marines saying that, you know what, whatever you throw at us, we would kill your front line. Once this dragon descends upon the line of Gigabyte Marines, they have so much damage. And we saw earlier that Gigabyte Marines is actually happy for Ceberus Esports to go and engage onto them. And the defensive playstyle did award them a win on game number 2. Game number 3, I know that my prediction has not been on point, at least on game number 1 and game number 2. But game number 3, I'm willing to go with a very bold prediction that Gigabyte Marines does have a very good team.
Okay. My thing though is that Ceberus Esports, they're all picking champions that I actually play. I have something like 50,000 mastery points on 4 of these champions. I play Karma when I get auto-filled support, so I have a lot of faith in Ceberus Esports right now. Just because I'm kind of biased because they're my picks as well. All right. Now, as for the scaling comp, it's very, very difficult to get to that late game against a team like Gigabyte Marines, but it's not impossible if they play carefully, if they play a little bit more tactfully, a little bit more like game number 1, more calculated. It's going to be a very difficult game for Gigabyte Marines, but yeah, it all comes down to execution now, Autolose.
Yep. I just read some information here that Gigabyte Marines is no longer called Gigabyte Marines. Looking at the comments from YT, I believe he's from Vietnam, so it's just GAM. So let's go with that. Thank you for the correction. Right. We would be calling them GAM Esports from here on.
Thank you, guys, because we are kind of legacy casters from way before, so we call it like we've known it for a while. But already we see a lane swap coming in. MT and Beer going to be bullying Y1 up there. They didn't read this, they didn't call this, so it will take a little bit for CES to back that Jax up, but it should still be completely fine. I don't think that not Gigabyte, it's GAM. I don't think that GAM is going to go for an early...
It's just so smooth though, right? I mean,
right.
letting out Gigabyte Marines makes you sound intellectual to a point, right? But yeah, we have to respect. It should be called GAM. GAM
Yes.
Esports it is. This
No
matchup
dead
between
naming
the-
teams.
True. Let's talk about the matchup between Corki and the Jace. I do understand, you know, the Jace is actually a lane bully, but against a ranged champion that has a lot of wave clearing potential, almost always you will have the priority on the Corki side. So that's also a pick that GAM is happy to play around with.
Yeah, a little bit of a scuffle here in the top lane. Genza definitely will be a pretty big sport here for the Jacks. Although that does mean that Akedo is just going to be spamming the Spirit Fire here against the Fiora. You know, at some point, I'd say you could just play this like a normal top lane. It's Nasus Fiora. But, you know, he's already committed to that kind of play style. He's already committed to just spamming E over and over, being safe behind his minions, under tower. So, I don't think Akedo should change anything. I mean, this is one of the most... it's a meme Nasus build that suddenly became meta in Wild Rift Pro Play. So, I respect it so much.
Yeah, you know, the numbers are skewed, the cooldowns are way shorter, and we do have the item Thimble Winter, which was first introduced in Wild Rift before it was introduced in League of Legends PC. So that's a tanky item that you can build from tier of the goddess, but looks like that we
Ooh,
might have
Zissou.
a potential dive. Zissou, though, with double buffs, elects to not really go through with that and just went for a G2 recall.
You know what? That was actually a mind game coming in. Zissou never actually intended to gank. He just wanted to back there and mess up the lane. Mess with the back timings for Y1 and Genza. So he's very efficient with his time, I gotta say. He didn't waste any time trying to, you know, force a gank that wasn't going to happen, force a dive. But he was just like, I'm going to intimidate them into backing. And that is the mind game, ladies and gentlemen, that you need to be aware of.
And that's how you win games, especially at this, you know, high level of competition. The mental advantage, the small things would actually net you a very big positive. Empty though.
All right, so Empty, he did try to go for something on BMM, burn his Ignite as well, but ooh, that is a lot of damage. Empty and Coyote, they are harassing this this Defender of Tomorrow, and it's kind of up to Genza to try to be the support, the roaming support for the rest of the team, because, well, Meliodas is trying just to farm up in scale. So yeah, wherever Empty goes, Genza follows.
Definitely has to be the name of the game for the side of Ceberus Esports. But one thing to note, that's Flash that was burnt on PMM. And remember, Jace doesn't really have access to any mobility tool. So expect GAM to go all in once he shows up in the first 5 minutes objective fights that we will have. In a minute, we might see an explosive team fight in where GAM would make sure that they go on top of PMM. Now, Dragons or Shyvana here in Wild Rift does have a different mechanic. They don't necessarily have to take down the Dragons to be stronger. It will be an advantage for them though. Wait a minute.
Yes, BMM, he does get onto T3, but T3 does get the stun off. Oh, that Shock Blast was not enhanced. If it was, could have gotten the kill, but forces T3 to get just get away from this lane. And that is the first kind of advantage that we have seen CES actually try to get, because slowly but surely GAM has been building up a gold lead, even without any kills, without any towers taken. They have just kind of spammed plates and minions to get to this point.
And you still don't want to give the dragon for free, because that's a lot of stacks that will be gifted over to the carry jungler off the side of Ceberus Esports. Call break already completed to the side of BMM, so he was able to chunk down some tower plates as well on the bot side. And we did say, you know, small things amount to big things if accumulated. So we'll see if there will be a team fight here. Hold your horses, ladies and gents, because this could be a big one.
And because MP's already engaged, he's got the explosive cast onto Genza, but Akedo is there. Coyote, though, has Valkyrie back, use the package, but that does mean that the Drake is going to be Final Spark. No! Smite over Final Spark. No kills, but okay, this could be it as, oh my god, the Ragnarok front, but he got so low. And oh, look at all of these health bars on the side of GAM. They just melted away. And that is just Ceberus. They're going to get the Drake for free. No kills given up. But look at this Fiora. Just beating on. Sorry, not Fiora. This Riven, who looks like a Fiora, just beating on that turret, getting the plates.
Same. 3 tower plates. And an easier access for GAM Esports to get the tempo advantage that you would actually want to have, especially against the scaling composition of Ceberus Esports. Now GAM would be most likely using the Rift Herald on the bot lane, securing them the first tower. At least in the bot lane, 3 tower plates. There you go, 1800 should be enough. That should be the first tower down for the side of GAM. And now, with that, little blunder by Zissou. I think all is well for GAM.
Oh. Yeah, Y1 gonna dodge out on the Broken Blade. The wings of the Riven not going to actually take him down. He's gonna be able to get that Honey Fruit to get himself back up. But this could be a pretty big dive to orchestrate as Meliodas. He does have Dragon Form available, but he's pretty low. So him and BMM is going to decide against it. 7 minutes in almost, and 0 kills on either side auto lose.
Still favorable for the side of GAM, at least in terms of tempo and cold lead, no kills, that's okay. What you want to make sure here is you don't throw away unnecessary kills over to the side of Ceberus. That would accelerate their their scaling to a point that you have no chance at the late game. Right now though, I'm looking into the state of the map and it feels like everything is equal. Y1 is slowly scaling up, so is Meliodas, so everything is okay, at least on the side of Ceberus Esports, but if you're GAM, you're okay with it as well.
Yeah, you have to be. BMM, look at that burst coming in, but Coyote fighting back, using his own, as Genza finally gets that 1 kill, first blood, but trading Coyote for Genza with BMM still alive. Empty now, he is on the chopping block, he has to get away, explosive cast and disengage, but Akeno is just going to go for the tower. This, my friend, is what we like to call the gates.
There's no deer yet, but that's okay.
Nasus can do gates.
One half of the gates that you're talking about. I know, I do understand your reference, my brother. Quite an old dog here in the League of Legends scene, but Beer?
Very much. Nope. Beer was in a little bit of danger. Y1 not committing. Akeno, that ult just saved his life, but oh my god, empty? He's just trying to harass a little bit, has been found out. Akeno now, he's going to go for a little bit of wave clear here. That final spark just to match the same wave clear, because it is gonna be problematic if you let that Nasus take plates.
Yeah, still very much equal, but I still fear for Ceberus Esports, especially for Meliodas, if he goes in and basically is targeted down, focused down by GAM Esports. It could easily be the squishiest dragon that we could ever see. I feel that he needs more survivability, a Stasis Ancient on the boots, or Seraph's Gauge, just to help the survivability. Genza playing around with fire in the mid lane, no casualty as of yet for the side of GAM and Ceberus Esports. I'm still waiting for a 5v5 team fight that is yet to happen.
Yeah, these teams have not really wanted to scrap as much as they did in the second game. Look, only 1 kill to 1, and it's 9:20. The next real peril is up. This could be the battlefield here. Oh, Coyote is barely dodging out on that Mantra Q. That could have been a fight changer if that actually landed. So let's see how Meliodas wants to go for this, because Zissou, he's been toying with the idea.
Yeah, and he has a level advantage over Zissou, so this could be very interesting. A 4v4.
Yeah, no, a 5v5 as the other two laners are in the mid lane, but they're just kind of trying to suss each other out. Empty, though, has been slowed. He's going to be taken out to half. So that is that Gragas not going to be very efficient in that fight. Y1 now, he's going to look at that catch from the Lux. Beer does a lot of damage, half of BM himself, and Genza is very low as well. I think they may have to let this one go, as Akeno does not want to get caught by any CC. He won't be able to seal it away. The Smite secures the Rift Herald, and that gives GAM the priority here. That gives them the onus. But now, Drake is up, Y1 and Meliodas are committing to it. Dragon form already.
Yeah, and I think that's okay. Keno, though, being engaged upon Ceberus Esports, is still so very much ready, and the 3 members of GAM is not in the position to really contest this. This is a very preemptive summon of the Rift Herald. Rift Herald with 0 value is just a sad face for GAM Esports.
Yeah, just well, I think they just wanted to put a little bit of pressure onto CES, but unfortunately, oh my god, Fear! After eating a Mantra Q, just down a half health. Jens is gonna have a very, very big damage stat here when it comes to the end game. And well, Karma and Wild Rift is just something else, guys.
I know. There's been, a series of events for GAM Esports that didn't really go into their favor. First, yeah, that wasted Rift Herald. Second, the wasted package. But more importantly, another dragon gifted over to Meliodas. Remember, yes, I do understand that, that we have a different mechanics overall for the Shyvana, but the more dragons that you have, the more stacks you will have on your Draconic Bloodline. And at this point, 11 minutes and 38 seconds, he is nearing that 3rd upgrade, which is the biggest upgrade for Shyvanas. At 3rd upgrade, you basically has access to true damage instead of magic damage. So that's the scariest dragon, or that's the scariest skill of Shyvana here in Wild Rift. So in just, a minute or so, Ceberus Esports will be a lot more scarier in teamfights.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, as this game goes on and GAM is not able to really abuse Ceberus and their positioning, the better it is for the Jax and the Shyvana. They are super late game scaling champions. You don't want to get them to level 15 because then they're going to run the floor with you. They're going to mop that like it was their job. Coyote, though, has been sussed out here. Meliodas, he tried to go for something, but he didn't commit. No full commitment here because that would just be a little bit risky. You don't want to risk that much in this situation.
You know what? If it was me, I would go all in.
Oh my god, risky now though! Speaking of all in, there it is! The dragon is coming out, the Ragnarok has come out as well, but Meliodas has backed away. There it is. He's still using the Scorched Earth to try to do some damage. T3 and Beer are going to be getting out of there, but this looks like, just a little bit of a touch and go between these two teams. Baron Asher is coming out. BMM though, getting a lot of damage onto Zissou, as he did get that the accelerated shock blast coming through, but Coyote may be going for a 1v1 here, and BMM just knows he has to get away from this one.
There's a small window for GAM Esports to take advantage of. Remember, a Shyvana that does not have access to his ultimate is basically a useless dragon, so if GAM Esports would at least be more proactive in planting down wards, at least at this time, they could actually easily catch out Meliodas in the process. But I'm not 100% sure if GAM Esports has that in mind. They are willing to play it passively. But again, playing passively against the line of Ceberus Esports is a net negative.
Yeah, you gotta try to abuse the disadvantage that they have in terms of gold right now, because as this keeps going, the more powerful that Jax is gonna get. Look, he's 0-0. He is the same. He's even lower gold. He's 1,000 less gold than T3's Ribbon. However, if they were to get into a 1v1, I'm pretty sure the Jax would still absolutely win. The Divine Sunderer plus Blade of the Ruined King and the BF sword.
Yep.
That's just a Riven killer.
And also, just the kit overall of this Jax. There is a reason why everyone is scared of Jax's late game. Even me, even on rank games, I mean, Jax could just easily win the game 1v5, 1v4. We'll see though, BMM.
Exactly. Yeah, BMM, he's landing a lot of good shock blasts here. Oh yeah, here we go. Y1 and T3. This could be it, but Zissou is off waiting on the wings. He could be coming in to support as Akeno's there as well. They did get empty. They rooted him, and Baron is doing some damage, but he does eventually go free. But look at that T3. His health bar just disappeared compared to Y1, and that was just them bonking each other. The two top laners. That is classic Jax, ladies and gentlemen. This is why GAM had to abuse it in the very early stages, but they weren't able to. So now CS are just slowly but surely scaling up. Once we get to 20 minutes, all bets are off.
True, and now with which Vilioda's also having access to the side lane resources, you're just seeing an accelerated dragon. Again, at this point in of the game, he's just one upgrade away from that very scary dragon. MT though being engaged upon.
Yeah, because Leketo now, he's the one who is tanking all that aggro, and he didn't actually lose that much health. About a third after just tanking all of the skills from MTZ to Coyote. Empty though, he is being very risky with his positioning because he is pretty low and he's half health. He's gonna have Zonius here. The Zonius speed T3 coming in. Meliodas, he's very low. He's far away from the Drake. And look at this. Look at that health bars. Yeah, it's gone. Genza is gone. Meliodas has to get out of here. This is not the fight for CES to take. Akedo, Y1, they have to get out of there, but they're getting chased away. Empty and TP, they're chasing. And Akedo, he's so tanky. Look at that. Empty though, so close to dying, but he lives another day. The Drake as well has been going over to GAM's side. And just one kill onto Genza, but that team fight changed everything. Y1 now, he's gonna get onto Zissou, and Y1, he's gonna jump on. The Ragnarok had to be used, but still, the damage over time for Y1 takes him down, and this is not what you want when you're facing a Jax.
No way! That's the jungler down for the side of GAM Esports. I thought that was
go for Baron.
Yeah, I thought that was already the stabilizing factor for the side of GAM Esports. T3 had the angle, was able to chunk down Meliodas and company on the backside. You could see TP's already committed. Y1 going for the TP. Zissou also has the TP available, but 20 seconds before he responds, this guy is being taken down.
Yeah, T3's already low. He goes into the Zonius, but look at this. Very, very low. BMM goes down. He wasn't able to do much in that fight. However, Meliodas is getting bullied now. But look at all the Zonius coming in. Everybody's going golden, and now it is T3's turn to go down. So Coyote is incredibly low. Akedo will not survive. He will with a shield. Double kill for the Jackson. Now he's going to go rampaging. Y1. It is a 1 versus 2. He's got the Ragnarok. He has to flash away, and then gets protected by the Karma. The shield's right. The Ragnarok's going to run out, and now they're chasing back again. Akedo, he's so aggressive, he flashes in, but now Zissou, he is there to contest, but there's not a lot of members of GAM still alive. There's only the 2 of them, and Zissou's just gonna try to be an annoyance. What a swing for CES. They're gonna go on to the Olaf, and Zissou doesn't have a lot of ways to get out of this. He's gonna get taken out. Meliodas gets the kill, and now that's a 3 for 6 kill score. Meliodas is going to get yeeted out of the Baron pit by the explosive cast, but Empty is just being treated as a nuisance. They're like, yeah, you can help with Baron, my guy. And Y1, he's just gonna use Empty to pad his own stats. Look at this. I don't think this Gragas is gonna get away from the Jax anytime soon. Look at that. Another kill. Unstoppable on the man who has no real weapon.
Show some penguins, show some question marks, because my guy Y1 is already 1v4ing everyone from the side of GAM Esports. This is what we expected. Once the game goes late, he basically has to surrender everything to the side of Ceberus Esports. And again, I would love to really highlight the fact that Ceberus Esports play that well, but at the same token, I feel for Zissou. Zissou's decision-making of surrendering that death, the very critical moment, just spelled disaster for the side of GAM Esports. There's no window, there's no room for that error at this very critical point of the game, at this very important series. But yeah, Ceberus Esports really a very good team when it comes to punishments.
Yeah, but now BMM, he's gonna get punished himself. The Ragnarok will be running out. Look at those Baron enhanced minions. They are doing a number on Zissou, and now Genza's here. And now Zissou has to run away. He ran away the wrong way. BMM just delaying for the ultimate, and then the Karma coming in. That gives Meliodas and Akedo opportunity to push in mid. Empty is so low, they're just gonna flash in on him. He goes golden, but it might not be enough as they're starting to push into the Nexus. There's the Jax. Y1 not afraid of anybody or anything. T3 trying to get in on his personal space. It's not gonna work as that Rivet is going to get shredded to pieces. It's now up to Beer. The Lux versus the World. They won't be able to hold down the Nexus as the Baron empowered minions take it down. That is going to be CES 2-1.
That's the longest game that we have had so far in this series, and Ceberus Esports very well-deserved lead into this best of 5. Just one game away from booking their seats onto the WRL Asia regular season. And this is going to be a very interesting game number 4 here, Jitan. We saw multiple types of playstyle, but at the end of the day, just the way they dodged team fights at the very first few minutes of the game just allowed them to catapult into the unstoppable late game that we have. As we look into the highlights of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, GAM knew that they had to go into the late game, and not for lack of trying. They did try, but the cautious nature of Ceberus just did not let them actually get anything. Ceberus just dodged every single fight. They were like, we're just going to, threaten each other. We're going to dance around. But finally, when the sparks started flying, it wasn't GAM who was on the front foot. Look at this. Even though GAM did kind of win this fight, they were pushed back. They were pushed away. And they allowed Y1 and Meliodas to scale. And look at this. Y1 with this catch. Absolutely beautiful. And then they were just able to force their way through and win off the back of a Jax.
Yep. At this point, all you have to do as a Jax is to pop your ultimate and just go Super Saiyan. That's the only thing that you have to do here. Look at Y1 just jumping over to Beer. And you would see MT here going for a very questionable stasis play. But I don't think it would make any difference. I feel like, at this point of the game, GAM Esports really had no chance at all. Everyone from Ceberus Esports is already scaled enough to pose a threat. And everything from that point is just formality.
Yeah, the win condition was clear auto lose. And it was basically dotting their I's and crossing their T's here for Ceberus Esports. And once the Jax got going, once he got 3-4 items, it was basically over. No second chances here for GAM in that game, but they will have one more chance here. Look at that damage, 26,000 on Y1, equaling Genza, who was basically throwing Qs and hitting them the entire game.
I know. It's crazy to think that Genza on this Karma is able to hit like a truck, I would say. Y1's damage, though, it was avalanched or it was accelerated by that last team fight. Again, just having access to 3 items, 4 items, this disposal. But to me, who do you think was really the real MVP in this match? I know that we will gift it over to Y1 because of his performance during the latter stages of the game. He was also the one responsible in catching Zissou. But I feel I wanted to give it to Meliodas just because of the way he controlled the game. By not being baited into team fights that they don't want to happen in the first few minutes.
Okay, so now I have a different take on that. Because I'm going to give it to Akeno, actually, with his Nasus, because he tanked so much damage. I know we don't have the damage graph, but he was at the front of so many engages of GAM that, and he was just making sure that he was about to ban that or ban something else, because you know what? Ashe has not been banned yet. I think GAM is going to have to be forced into banning that. Okay, so Fiora ban. This has to be an Ashe ban. You cannot give Ashe to any Vietnamese team.
Yeah, sure. For sure. It's a first pick worthy, to say the least. But the Gragas is also open, so...
now Gragas is open, yes. Now Gragas is open for Akeno.
Could still be a Karma first pick, though. We've seen Karma being a menace for Genza. It did lose on game number 2, though, because it got baited out by the Serpent's Fang user. Quote-unquote, Ceberus is still available, so GAM Esports could be very well ready for that iteration of fight of a Ceberus Esports. The question is, will they be confident in saying, you know what, this is a Gragas game? Because if I'm Ceberus Esports, if I was the coach of CES, I'm so confident in Akeno playing Gragas.
Put him in, coach. Just pick the fat man and roll his barrels to victory. Just ride that explosive gas.
I think we're past that. Past calling Gragas a fat man. I would say he has a different body build.
He's thick. He's thick with 5 C's, guys. Thick with 5 C's.
For post endgame, I guess, or post Infinity Wars. Some body build that is similar to mine right now, which I'm happy to have.
But no, Aatrox first pick. This could go either to Meliodas or Y1. Good flex pick, but that does leave open the Karma and the Gragas as well. But okay, T3 going for the Jax.
Okay.
T3.
So this series has been adjustments after adjustments after adjustments. We've
One after
seen
the other.
over and over again. You know what? Okay, so they showed it on previous game. We're going to cancel it out by trying to take it away from the opposing squad. And now Ceberus Esports, though, it's going to be very happy. Another Jace pickup for them and a Gragas pickup. I don't want to predict anymore, Jitan. I've been 0-3. I know. I don't want to jinx anyone right now.
Let's not talk about it. Let's just analyze. Let's not say who's in the better spot because all those, it genuinely all comes down to how they execute their game plan. And with Akeno on the Gragas, this is going to be one spicy meatball for GAM to try to crack, right? So, okay, they're going to ban up the Varus, keeps the Karma safe. Let's see what the options are available because Coyote is going to definitely take that Lucian. I think Beer is Beer's gonna be going for the Karma, but now Galio's banned, maybe Nautilus banned for Cerberus.
Yeah,
I think
has to be. Just with the way GAM is playing out the drafting phase, banning away the Varus basically removes one Serpent's Fang user. You could use you could buy Serpent's Fang on the Jace, although it will be a little bit awkward. I just feel it's not really the best item for this champion. But for Varus though, like match made in heaven. They wanted to make sure that there is going to be no shenanigans or no X factors from MT because MT is one of the best Alistar players in Vietnam. So it's more of a respect pick rather than the champion itself. We'll see though. Braum!
I love Braum. I absolutely love Braum auto lose.
I don't. This doesn't make sense, but sure.
It makes no sense to you, but I love it. You know why?
Yeah?
Because this opens up Beer to pick up the Lucian instead of Coyote. Braum Lucian is a historically just a powerful lane. I know it may not be meta now, but if this is a pocket pick, and I sense it is. Okay, Zoe and Lee Sin though.
Wait. There's something else that we have to talk about. That's the Zoe.
Zoe though.
I know. It's the quote-unquote newest champion that was made available to WRL Esports. I do know that Zeri is already available in the shops right now, but no, it's not available in WRL Esports.
Not competitive.
Not yet. At least not for 2 more weeks. But there you go. So Zoe, poke champion, quote-unquote. No quotes on that. It's definitely a poke champion. Together with Jace. Basically, what they want to do here is to chunk down your HP bars. And once you're basically chunked down, that's where Akeno comes in with the engages. That's when the Aatrox becomes just a different beast. So very defined win condition for the side of Ceberus Esports and a very different playstyle from games 1, 2, and 3. This series is a gift that keeps on giving. I mean, look at this, guys. You're playing different styles over different styles on each game.
Exactly, and it just changes from each game, and they have to kind of adjust to each other. And now Cerberus, they are going for a very aggressive poke comp. You got the Zoe, you've got the Jace, and then Meliodas can come in, Akeno can come in with a hard engage. It is obviously very difficult for GAM to keep them out unless Braum has ultimate, unless Jax is able to scale up. So I'm very excited to see this because Lee Sin is going to be very focused on trying not to give Jax the leeway to just farm to infinity like GAM gave Cerberus in our last game. So I honestly don't know on lose. Could go either way.
Yep. And this Lucian that is often picked up to face against the Jace during the laning phase, because that's been the case, at least in WRL Esports, whenever Jace gets picked up, there will be 2 champions that could go toe-to-toe when it comes to the laning phase and when it comes to priority. Lucian is one of them. Corki is one of them. So we will see. Coyote will be the one playing the Lucian and BMM will be playing the Jace. So that's the standard way of Wild Rift. So that means that Genza will be the one playing the Zoe. Zoe in the Dragon Lane, Wild Rift, and AP champions in the bot lane. Name a better duo. None.
No better duo. If
No.
Wild Rift has, if League PC has ADCs, we don't like that here in Wild Rift. We like our mages in the bot lane. We're stuck in the League of Legends 2017 meta, I would say. But man, MT though, this Braum pick, very kind of unusual. There are a lot of better supports that you could pick, but I do love it for sentimental reasons, because when I first started playing League of Legends and I got my brother into it, we would duo in the bot lane.
That's your
I would
first
be
champion?
Twitch. No, he was my brother's like first real
okay.
name. So very, very sentimental for me. Shout out to Jiggy, my brother. Without him, I really wouldn't have gotten into League as much as I did. So MT,
Yeah.
I respect this pick. It gives me feels, but I still think that CES has a more interesting and a more interesting build, a more interesting team comp
Yep.
that I think has more ways to win.
But to be fair, GAM does actually have the advantage when it comes to wave clear. Getting priority, you would have to tip it over to Karma. I do understand that Zoe still has some sort of an AoE, but it's not as effective as Karma's Q. So at least that could be something a little bit of positive for the side of GAM. We'll see though. I've seen games in where Braum was like the most unkillable thing ever created on a Wild Rift. So if MT would be able to reach that point and soak as much damage as he can for the side of GAM, it could be, the bigger thing to allow T3 to scale up.
Yes, but Akeno already getting that body slam onto Coyote, but yeah, exactly. MT just immediately comes to the aid of Coyote, gets the shield off, and yeah, he didn't even take any damage basically. So yeah, for a roaming support that has to go to a Lucian lane, I don't think there's a better one than Braum right now.
Yeah. For melee champions, I guess Braum is really one of the best champions to pair up with Lucian, just because of that double proc. But if there's one champion that we know of, that's Nami. That could also be a very good fit onto this Lucian.
Yes. Okay. A little bit of poke there. Meliodas takes the tower shot, but look at this pressure coming in from Ceberus. They are just trying to keep T3 from farming for free. So they had to force MT to get up there to duo with him to keep that Jax safe, because they know if that Jax gets going, it's probably over for them. Now, this is a little bit of a difficult lane for BMM when he has no mana, because Coyote just naturally has longer range.
And basically, when it comes to Battle of Attrition and with the mana resource, Jace often uses more skills than a Lucian. Lucian could just easily auto-attack by not using his mana. Meanwhile, BMM has to expend some of the mana to make some of his mana to make sure that he can go toe-to-toe when it comes to priority.
Absolutely. So yeah, Akedo and MT are just matching each other roam for roam, while Yenza and Beer, they are just kind of chilling in the Dragon Lane. Okay, that is a pretty big explosive cast. There it is, the Glacial Fissure from MT, but they did see the Wukong, so no engage here. They just threw out the ultimate from the supports just to, say, hey, how you doing? Here's our ults. Don't engage.
And I did say that, I'm not seeing the picture of this Braum.
Oh, this is a dive though. The sleep already onto Beer, and he's gonna have to flash out to get out of that. Akedo taking tower still, and MT getting there a little bit too late to help, but he should still be able to defend the turret.
No casualty, right? Okay, so...
oh, he slept. Ooh. Oh, hang on. There's the first blood onto the Aatrox. T3 and Zissou getting a pretty decent gank off. They knew that Lee Sin wasn't there. This is incredible. This is a huge boon. This is big for both Zissou and T3. Look at that. They're actually going to tear this turret apart. Akedo just barely makes it in time to defend the last bit of turret.
And that's okay, right? I mean, all you have to do is to remain patient and prioritize the top side of the map. And T3 would almost always have the advantage. Still has summoners available to him. In 10 seconds, though, there will be another objective that will be contested here by both squads. One thing to note, all summoners burned for Y1. No World Ender. Might still be on cooldown by the time that they meet up. But GAM already has set their sights over to the Infernal Dragon. So it's going to be a handshake here, Cheaton.
Very, very proactive play coming in from Gigabyte Marines, which is not what we were expecting to see, especially with a Jax in the top lane. But really good stuff here. Gets the Rift Herald, though. Rift Herald, yeah, handshake. But it is a little bit more important for Rift Herald to come out for... wait, hold up. Where is the first time? No, it's still going to be that. It's still going to be that with all the support from Ceberus up in the Baron lane. That does give T3 some safety to just farm in his own part of the map. So this could backfire a little bit for Ceberus in the long run.
As long as the Jax reaches the late game, yes, the answer will always be will be problematic for the side of Ceberus. We're definitely one of the strongest champions that we have ever since it was created, or ever since it was introduced here in Wild Rift. Just the ability to 1v4, 1v5. We saw it last game. I'm expecting to see it again this game at the hands of T3. Especially now that you basically have a different playstyle for GAM altogether. Look at the three champions. It's basically, you know, they're saying that T3 Coyote, please carry us, because this Karma, Braum, and Wukong, their job is to just supplement the carries, which is T3 and Coyote.
Yeah. T3 and Coyote definitely are going to be doing the heavy lifting here in terms of damage, but I mean, Zissou and Empty, they are the ones who will actually get really good engages off, because Zissou coming in all invisible-like, and then getting a big Cyclone into Empty, jumping onto him, getting a Glacial Fissure. That is how many seconds of CC on at least two members of Ceberus Esports if they can pull that combo off.
A lot. Those layering of crowd control would be enough to win them team fights. But there's a potential dive here, Jitan. Alright, GAM, all they have to do is to just clear this cannon minion and they should be a-okay.
Yeah, they will be completely fine. GAM will dodge this dive, although, ooh, Genza trying to be fancy with it, trying to get those long-range hits. And well, I can see in our chat that there's a little bit of confusion as to how many teams will be coming in from the open qualifiers. So just to be clear, before we discuss that, we're going to be going into this as, well, Zissou gets absolutely destroyed, got slept by Genza and Meliodas. It'll help take him out as Zoe gets killed, but yeah, Coyote
this is
feeling
scary.
The pressure now. This is going to be a very big dive as Genza actually misses the sleep. But back to what I was saying, guys, I know you're debating, but it's going to be two teams from the Philippines, two teams from Vietnam, two teams from CE, one team direct invite from Korea, and one team from the Last Chance qualifier. And I do see a lot of people saying that G2 Blacklist, you know, kind of didn't have a chance. Well, they will have one more chance if they're the best team in the Last Chance qualifier.
Yeah, one more shot of all the teams that is already eliminated out of contention. But that Last Chance qualifier would be a bloodbath. Going back into this game, we're seeing the two towers already was broken apart here by Ceberus Esports, and slowly but surely they're getting the goal lead that they basically need in order for them to make sure that this Jax would stay checked.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the goal, Jax is starting to ramp up. That's a pretty good sleep, but Empty's going to get away with it for free. Coyote, though, respecting Genza quite a lot. Do not want to be anywhere near that Zoe, regardless of whether or not she has sleep, because that Paddle Star can deal so much damage, even just grazing you.
True. And can come from angles you wouldn't expect. Remember that this Wild Rift map is still very, very small compared to the traditional League of Legends maps. We'll see, though.
Yep. Coyote, though, he's going to take some damage. Oh, that, whoa, that sleep procced the Ludens and then prevented the back timing from Beer from going off. So that could be a little bit of an issue, but Meliodas already getting the second Rift Herald of the game on his own. No vision. GAM completely does not know. So they're just going to choose to give this up. I think he's probably going to put it down mid, because that is the last outer turret available for GAM.
Warmonks. Empty did actually decide to go for Warmonk's armor as his first item buy. or first major item buy. So that's actually going to be very interesting. Allows him to survive with a huge amount of HP that he has, and it's basically one of the default items that I often build whenever there's an armor threat and a magic threat on the other side. So there you go.
Yeah, but the threats are not going to stop here from CES. From either team, really, even with the Warmogs already. Look at this, there is the Glacial Fissure to stop that from happening. Zissou had to go for Cyclone, but he was taken away. Akeno, 1v3 basically, but he's going to get away scot-free. That was a hopeful engage from Ceberus Esports, but they were able to kind of run back and actually recalibrate that, but that does mean that the Drake is open for Gigabyte Marines, and this is still an active clash. Y1 is there, T3 is going to be there, so all 5 members of Gigabyte Marines are, sorry, GAM now are going to keep CES away.
Actually, they had no reason to engage. I'm talking about Ceberus Esports at that point, right? They're a poke type of a team, and this could be what they needed, right?
Oh my god! Yeah, that would have been a pretty big play. I agree with you. They could just poke, but look at this. He's trying to insect the Jax, but oh my god, he's going to be going on to Genza. This is a little bit difficult. I can't tell who's going to come up on top, but one thing's for sure, Akeno is the one who gets down first. That sleep bubble will not be going into anything. Glacial Fissure, swing and a miss, but that would... It did hit and not get a lot of value though. Look at this fight for the jungle. They're still going for it. T3, he's not yet as fed as he wants to be. Oh, if that Sonic Wave hit, it still might be a positive outcome for CS, even though they did give up 1 kill. If they're able to get control of this jungle, get wards down here. And Meliodas doing his level best to deny everything he can from GAM.
Right, and then again, Ceberus Esports just doesn't need to engage. All they have to do is to stick with their game plan, champ down all the members of GAM before going for that all-in. And I think that's also the reason why MT went for Warmog's armor. Just because he knows that he will be chunked down a lot. His Unbreakable won't be cooled or won't be up almost every time. So yeah, it does actually make sense now. Now Ceberus Esports needs some polishing to do if they want to close this game right here, right now, because those questionable engages are questionable indeed.
Yeah, I mean, even though they have been, trying to force a commitment from GAM, GAM is just like, you know what? No, we are kind of afraid of commitment. Empty though, getting taken on very low, half health, but it's just Akeno and Genza right now. The rest of the team is just now coming in, and that sends a disengage from GAM. Yeah, and a great explosive cast to get away from that. But now Akeno and Genza back in the mix. They are just going back and forth while Jace is in the top lane. BMM just going to solo push with his Hull Breaker. Akeno though in a very bad situation. He's too low. Meliodas does kick Zissou away. They're not really committing to big fights. They're just kind of poking away, trying to jockey for position. Yeah, there's no need to get all too committed because that could spell the end of the game. Look at this.
Look at
CES
BMM.
Has a gold lead. They have a gold lead and a kill deficit.
Exactly, and BMM was able to break down the second tier tower on the top side of the map with all the confusion that was created and with all the chaos that was started by Ceberus Esports. GAM had to surrender another tower to Ceberus Esports, and I just would love to highlight the fact that, you know, I may sound biased, but you know what, we have to give credit where it's due. Man, Akeno again on this Gragas, just the ability to have a very good engage tool and disengage tool. This Gragas on this player is just a cheat code at this point.
Yes, I mean, Akeno, there's a reason why you have to ban that Gragas out from him, because he is just so proficient on it. He's already got his Abyssal, and really he plays it like a caster, and not a support. But look at that, that was a potential for Meliodas to go in, but he didn't commit because he knew that was the clone. Now, GAM and CES, they are playing a dangerous game, dancing back and forth between the two. Look at this, the jungle priority is once again with CES. All 5 members of them are in the top side of GAM's jungle. They are interrupting Jax's farming streak. He's already got Divine Thunderer though, as well as his Holly. So if this Jax is left alone in a side lane, he may just go all the way to the end of turret. So they cannot take their eyes off of T3.
Of course. T3 still is the lone win condition. Coyote hasn't been felt yet. 0-0-1, but far from the impact that GAM at least need to stabilize this game. Right now, Ceberus Esports is running away with things. Slowly and surely, basically mounting up the goal lead up to 5k already here, G10. Not something that, it's a slow and steady and a quiet way of earning gold lead for Ceberus Esports, yet a very effective one.
Yeah, incredibly effective. The way that they're just kind of running the GAM around the map and then going for the objectives that they know they can take, just like this Drake that is going to be coming up. It is a Mountain Drake. Oh my god!
That's a
Zissou is clone. Yeah, I thought that was him. I thought there was another person, but no, Meliodas just burst his clone down. That's completely fine. Akeno, though, this is a pretty decent Glacial Fissure, but I'm not sure you should be committing to that, especially since he went golden right here. But looks like they're going to commit to this fight. Empty is so low. Why one try to get all the way over there? But this Aatrox may be coming in hot. He has the World Ender. He's already made it clear that he's going to use it. Oh, the sleep onto the Wukong just barely lives. Zissou is in no shape to contest this Drake. So, Ceberus Esports is going to be free from them. Oh, the sleep once again. Genza! They have to protect. T3 eats all of the damage for Coyote because that would have been so bad to lose their mid laner there. And the next Drake is going to be the Elder.
You know what? This is the most annoying Zoe I've ever seen in the Wild Rift map in a while.
Yes.
And kind of reminds me of how Faker uses this champion to just make sure that the zone and the territory of Ceberus Esports or of their team actually be on their side. Yes, basically they were not able to kill anyone, but those threats, chunking down the members of GAM was actually enough for them to get the objective, preventing the 3 dragons over to GAM side. And it's actually very safe to say that Ceberus Esports, although there is a threat of that looming Jax going Exodia and going 1v4 later in this game.
Oh, another sleep.
Well, that's on empty though. Again, just going back to my point, T3 though might just be chunked down with all the crowd control available to Ceberus Esports. We know that Jax is unstoppable, but you can actually control a late game Jax by making sure that he gets stunned out of the map. Yeah.
So the thing with Jax is he can take over a 1v5 if you don't CC him, but with one of the best CC abilities in the game, the Sleep Bubble from Zoe, that could be something that is really bad. But Zissou goes incredibly low and he gets chased down. Y1 just barely misses out on the kill. He did get the ignite up, but it's not enough. Coyote with, oh my god, the kick almost took him out too. CES, they are showing their dominance here. And I think that's all in the back of Genza and all of his annoying Sleep Bubbles, his paddle stars. This Zoe, man.
This Zoe is on steroids, brother. Like, I do know that, here in Wild Rift we have shorter cooldowns, but it does feel like this is an Earth Zoe if I've ever seen. Sleep Bubbles, paddle stars left and right, and just the threat of this champion overall is just on a different level. My man, Genza is a beast on this champion as well as is his other champion, so we'll see though.
Yeah, because this dragon laner is so focused on just being an annoying poker that GAM does not really have a good counter to him because Akeno's just always there. Okay, this is a very ambitious engage from Zissou. Incredibly ambitious, but immediately Akeno was like, alright, body slam, bam! You're not gonna get into that, but MT may be in a little bit of trouble. No, they're just setting up for the potential Elder Drake because CES, that is now their win condition. They get Elder Drake, they can team fight with full abandon. Genza, his damage is going to skyrocket once he gets that Elder Drake. So if GAM give this up, they won't even be able to utilize that Jax.
True, and again, the execution threshold, I believe at around 20% of your remaining HP bar. Imagine Genza having access to the Elder Dragon. All you have to do is to just pray that you won't get hit by any of those skill shots because those would hit like a truck. Right now, Ceberus Esports trying to engage again.
Yeah, and look at that pretty decent explosive cast, but it does look like Akedo is caught behind enemy lines. Great kill onto Coyote, 53 on the death timers, and this could be it. Zisou and Coyote have fallen, and the rest of Gigabyte or Scam are running for their lives. Empty and Beer, they're getting taken very low. It is all up to Genza. Look at all that damage, but look at this at the back of it. Y1 is already dominating. They went from 1 kill to 5 kills in the span of a few seconds, and that is it. The death timers are too low. Beer is not able to actually do anything, and Ganza will be the MVP here and taking Ceberus Esports to the finals. They are now the second team to qualify for the Wild Rift League Asia regular season.
Congratulations to Ceberus Esports, very well deserved. And again, I did say that, this version of Ceberus Esports having multiple playstyles onto them, they would need almost every single one of them of those perfect in order for them to prepare themselves in the much more bigger competition in Wild Rift League Asia regular season, which is going to happen very, very soon. Again, Ceberus Esports, congratulations to the org, congratulations to the player, and a very, very commendable performance overall today.
Most definitely cementing their place as right now the best team that Vietnam has to offer. They were behind in kills for the entire game until that final clash, guys. They were able to strangle GAM. They were able to negate the Jax threat. They were able to negate Coyote and Zisou and Empty and everybody from GAM just through the threat of Genza throwing those sleep bubbles.
They were not allowed to play at all. And again, the killer instinct coming from Meliodas, the experience of this guy. There is a reason why we saw him during an international competition in League of Legends PC. He's just one of the better junglers from Vietnam, and bringing his experience and his skills over to Wild Rift Ceberus Esports just has catapulted themselves into the best team here from Vietnam, and again, a very, very well-deserved slot. One of the direct invited teams, showing the world why they are invited.
Yeah, I mean, if you needed any proof that Ceberus Esports deserves to be in the Wild Rift League regular season, this is it. This is the proof. And look at Genza's damage! 40,000 damage in 20 minutes.
Crazy,
that is
crazy.
more than 2,000 damage a minute, guys.
Crazy. Super, super crazy. This is like one of the things that we have to take note of. Is this going to be an introduction of Zoe's annoyance into the competitive scene? Because oftentimes, when we see a champion be this successful, the next few teams who would try to replicate the success that was created of that champion. So I wouldn't be surprised that in the next few games that we will have, or the next series that we will be casting, Zoe could be, the focal point.
Maybe
Zoe could be one of the champions that has to be banned or taken away from the other team. Look at Genza and his posts. My man, 2K per minute.